Hello, welcome to this zone's edition of a highlights video. This one's presented by De Grugster, in case you're wondering. Anyway, this is a game between Mason and Glaston, basically how to defeat the Christmas tree defense, which you see, you probably see it relatively commonly around Managerzone. Anyway, it's so-called, I call it Christmas tree formation because it looks a bit like a Christmas tree. Anyway, with the ball for Mason is Randall Coots. Now he's going to move to the right, just slightly. Roddo Bree, I'm going to circle in a moment now. He's probably positioned too aggressively because he couldn't intercept the ball off goal kick. He also will not be able to help out the defense, which in the end will be one of the causes of the goal. Neil Christini, who's I've just done the arrow for before, is going to have to mark up as a result on Coots, which will leave the ninja for Mason free on the right. He'll get the ball. He actually scored a hat-trick in this game, I think, from memory, but he didn't score this goal. He'll drop into the space, and because he's moving towards the right, that'll move the defense all across. So I see Jess Carr, and he'll go way out there, marking absolutely no one, such as the sim. And then you'll see Bert Collins, the central defender. He doesn't go across that far, but you get the idea. He moves across. That will all leave Navarro Cooney circled with the option whether to mark the other Chinese striker or mark Arne Bailey, who's cleverly just drawing him towards the left, which is going to leave a giant, well, not a giant gap, but a very wide gap in the middle for the Chinese striker, or the other Chinese player for Mason to run into. So he'll run into it, as you can see there. The through ball will be played. Ball movements in all of these highlight videos are going to be denoted by those green arrows. So hopefully you're not colorblind and that comes out okay. I probably should have used black. Anyway, I'm not doing this live in case you're wondering. The Chinese striker is going to run onto that through ball, as you would kind of hope a striker would do. The only man who came close to stopping it really in the end was Neil Christini, you may remember from earlier. Now he only has to move across just a little bit, but in this sim you don't really see a lot of pass deflections or anything. In this particular case he just gets himself megged. Just thought I'd mention that. So here's Coots, he moves to the right. The Chinese ninja moves, creates a space. Christini gets megged. Bert Collins has moved way too far to the right. He misses the tackle. The tackle was a very low percentage anyway, and you see the goal. Next game is Skanks vs Bondi Icebergs in round 15. This is the second of 3 goals. You just saw Bradford Scurry pass to Barnabas Holdsworth on the right. He centres the ball in, I suppose, to Fletcher Stockworth. Heads it down to Randall Lascelles. Now, Lascelles is going to run to his left. This is going to draw 2 players in Lawrence Weatherby and the man I'm doing the arrow for now, who is Blade Haskell. Now, because Haskell's been drawn to the ball, that's going to leave a 2-on-1 on the left wing with Fletcher Stockworth and a Chinese player out wide for the Icebergs. Now, the defender for Skanks, who is Roland Jazwich. Anyway, he gets drawn up from the pass because Fletcher Stockworth doesn't run towards the goal, he runs to the space, which is what you should do as a striker. Chinese player all the way out there can do whatever the hell he wants. Anyway, he'll eventually get the ball. I don't know what I'm circling now. So here we go, Lascelles, he passes it to Stockworth. He ends up taking on Jazwich, which takes him largely out of play. Central defender comes across to cover. That's Keith Block. He and they just dick around with it a bit. The Chinese striker scores a pretty good shot in the end. It looks like it's come off the crossbar there. Anyway, the third and final goal. This was my personal favourite. It's Duffield up against the Icebergs. So the Icebergs bringing it out of defence. We see a Chinese battle here on the wing. The Duffield defender, right back, wins it. And he dribbles into the middle and passes off Bishop Lawrence. Now, he's got two men free on the left, similar to the last goal in that sense. You'll see Arnold Collins. He's going to drop into that space. The left defender, I believe, is Kiefer Bowen for the Icebergs. He's going to be drawn up. This will allow the Chinese striker, I can do a little bit better of a circle, to basically just be so completely open it's not funny. And because the defender in Kiefer Bowen from earlier is being drawn up, he can position himself in what would normally be an offside position. I'll show you that in a minute, but here's the pass, and then the pass through for the Chinese player, and he will run onto that as you would expect a striker to do, and he will be he was completely open, but unfortunately what happens is he goes a bit too far wide. I'll show you that in a minute. Anyway, just to highlight the offside thing, just draw the offside line in. So as you can see, the defender, Kiefer Bowen, is going to obviously run up. The last man in defense does not run up, so it's going to leave the Chinese player even more wide open than he would be normally. Anyway, here we go. So Lawrence with the ball, passes it off. Here is Collins, and he'll play it off to the Chinese player. This is a very good part of the goal. A great goal there from Arnold Collins. We'll analyse it from a different angle. Here, okay, so we're going all the way back to the Bondi Icebergs attack. So that was Rishton with the ball, and he passed it out wide to a Chinese player. As you can remember from earlier, the Chinese right back winning the ball back for the Duffs. Passing it off to Lawrence, he will in turn pass it off to Arnold Collins. Now, Arnold Collins plays the Chinese striker on the left. This is going to force, because he's so open, the defender, who is Bradford Scurry, who's actually the central defender for Skanks, going to have to come across and cover the Chinese player, which you'll see here. Now, everyone else there's only really one other defender at the moment, and that's this man here, Coy Hayward. And he's got two guys there, two Duffield strikers. Which one can he mark? He's not really, if the ball's played in quickly, he can't mark them both. So Skank's in a bit of trouble here. Anyway, what actually happens is that you'll see, because Coy Hayward is too busy marking those two guys, that means that Arnold Collins is going to be marked by Kiefer Bowen, I believe it was the defender who's right next to him. And this means that Collins, he just runs straight towards the box, and he's going to be open because Bowen is not faster than him. Those arrows are supposed to be the same length, but you'll get the idea. Collins will be open, and it's a brilliant 1-2 in the end. Chinese player will play it back to Collins, and you will see a goal. Although you can't see the goals on the screen, let's say the goals are about there. It's a good shot as well, but this 1-2 here is my favourite part of the goal. Here's Collins, he'll pass it off, Chinese player. Collins runs towards the goal, plays it back, gets the ball, goal. That's all, so